Did you know that many products around you can be made with CO2 that is captured from the sky? CO2, or the carbon element, can be found in a lot of products, just like in the soda. These bubbles are just CO2 gas. And when we would capture this CO2, and I will try that later in this episode, then we can make all types of new products, like fuels, plastics, or grow crops with. So in this episode, we'll focus on the question, what can we do with CO2 and what's it worth? Hi, I'm Beatrix. I work at Carbyon. And in this Ask Carbyon series, we are going to answer questions about capturing CO2 from the sky. Because we get many questions, we thought it's time to answer them. Together with experts, we will explain how Carbyon is working on a solution. And in this episode, there is value in CO2 from the sky.
We actually capture it from the atmosphere and remove it permanently out of there.
Ooh,
There we go.
it's growing. CO2 plays an important role to tackle climate change, like explained in episode 1. It has also a very fun side. And I was not aware of this before when I started working at Carbyon, but there is value in CO2 from the sky. And how that works, you will learn today. Next to me is Marco Arts. Welcome.
Thank you.
He's our Chief Operating Officer. And he is great in explaining what the potential is of products from the sky. So in episode 3, we have actually explained how Carbyon is capturing CO2. But we haven't explained yet what we can do with the CO2. What can we actually do with the captured CO2?
Well, basically, you can do two things with it. You can store it away or you can reuse it, and both are needed. If we store it, we actually capture it from the atmosphere and remove it permanently out of there. And we call that negative emissions. And these are needed to keep global warming below 2 degrees Celsius. But we can also reuse it to make alternatives to fossil fuel products. And these are also needed to prevent future emissions.
Could you give some examples of these alternatives?
Yes, there's plenty of examples, and we've displayed a few of them here on the table. I think a very interesting one is concrete, actually. We can store captured CO2 in concrete and it will remain in there forever. It even fortifies the concrete.
Oh, wow.
That's really interesting. Another very interesting example is sustainable aviation fuel, as we call it. It's fuel made out of captured CO2. It's a green alternative or substitute for fossil kerosene. Next to that, we can make plastics out of it, but for example, also grow crops based on CO2. Actually, crops eat CO2. And worldwide, currently, most crops grow on fossil-sourced CO2, and we can provide a circular alternative.
If you want to stay up to date on our progress, make sure to subscribe to the Carbyon channel. Can we also provide the bubbles in soda with our captured CO2?
Yeah, I actually forgot to tell that CO2 is also used in a lot of food products, in beverages and in sparkling drinks, like the one here. And we can actually capture it out of the bottle with a balloon, for example.
Ooh, let's do that. But I think we need an appropriate setting for that. That's better, right? Now we can do the experiment. Okay, so we had to put the balloon on top of the cap.
Yeah.
And now turn the cap inside the balloon, right? Okay, let's see. Ooh,
There we go.
it's growing. Ooh,
Look at this.
okay. So the CO2 in this balloon, does it have a value? Is it even worth something?
It definitely is. Actually, the most important thing I learned here at Carbyon is that we can tackle climate change and at the same time have a very sound business. Because the CO2 has tremendous value, ranging from $100 per ton to several $100s per ton for remote greenhouses that need CO2.
So investors, they often ask us, what will we sell? Will we sell the CO2 in this balloon, or will we sell the machines that capture the CO2?
Now, we are experts in developing and producing machines. So we will sell these machines to customers and they will use them to capture CO2 and then store it away or reuse it. So we take one challenge at a time.
Thank you for your help, Marco. And our experiment, it succeeded. We captured some of its CO2. Every time I'll open a bottle, I'll think of its fossil CO2 inside. Let's capture the sky and replace it with ours. Thank you for watching. And in episode 5, we will discuss the environmental impacts of direct air capture and if it's safe.